a lot of the people want to put this on, say, Chalice or something like that. Like, it's not just him who's struggling in these games. It's everybody on LGD when they get a loss like that. Mm-hmm. And I understand it's not Ame. You're putting a lot of pressure on this guy who's come in to fill a role for one of the most memorable LGD players to cross your faces, and now you just want to put it all on Chalice. But at the end of the day, these are the top two teams. You're going to lose some games to the top teams. It's going to happen. And if it happens when you're in a best of 5, it happens. But you need to also understand that LGD overall recently have played very well. I think Chalice is still coming into his own in this position with LGD, of course. So it's difficult.
Let's see how the draft adapts this time from last game as well. We see that Venge banned out again. LGD play against Dusa twice, and they're like, we don't want to play against Dusa Venge again. So they banned it out last game. They're going to ban it out this game as well. And I don't know if we'll see anything too different from the bans in comparison to last game. I think LGD, they might ban out the Tusk potentially, because I think Vici plays so well with that hero. Like, I was really surprised it got let through.
Well,
but they
may not ban it
instead.
They may not ban it out if they want it, because they've got that first pick.
True. Very different now, because that is true actually. And they just banned Morph out first phase as well. Okay. So again, with these supports that are going to be coming potentially through, the Shakers, the Keeper of the Light still in the pool as well, which is something that's been banned out every single game so far, I'm pretty sure. Keeper of the Light, Tusk, Shaker. What else is there? Oracle as well, I guess. Has been pretty prevalent this series. It's so difficult to ban in these situations. Yeah, and they're going to take the Tusk out again, which we haven't even seen this whole series, by the way, because LGD have banned out first phase every single time because of Yang.
Yeah, now they banned that Coddle, which has been a very strong hero for LGD, and really a strong hero just overall. But on top of that, it's been a much more picked by we see it on X Nova a lot.
So Vici are probably going to be banning Shaker, I would imagine. They really don't want to give that to FY. They seem to first phase ban it every single time. So LGD need to decide what they want as their first pick here. And again, Tusk is still in the pool and Shaker, so they could get one of those. But then you have to think Vici, if they don't ban the Shaker, then that means that LGD are going to pick one of them, and then Vici are going to pick the other, right?
But Grimstroke's still available with the Ember, so you could just go to that Grimstroke Ember for one of these teams too.
But then Oracle's still in the pool as well, which makes Grimstroke really difficult. There's so many different things you have to think about, and that's why I think it's taken them a little bit of time to think about these first phase bans, rather than just instantly picking them and knowing straight away. So now, I just have to see if Vici actually ban Shaker here, if they let them both through, and pick up the other one for themselves. Because it's kind of like a trade-off, right? So I think they would consider letting them both through, because otherwise LGD get one or the other, and then Vici don't get the opposite.
This is what we've been talking about, where we're seeing these bans now. We see the Morphling ban and the Venge ban, the evolution of the best of 5, where now we're seeing different bans come into play, and that opens up a lot more heroes that we see players a lot more dominant on. And there's the Oracle ban, so we're not going to see the X Nova Oracle. We're not going to see Oracle at all. This could be a Tusk or a Grimstroke. Now this gives Tusk over to Vici, who love it too. BYW destroys with that hero.
That Oracle ban's so sick though, right? Because what it does is it says to LGD, if you don't take Shaker or Tusk in first phase, we're going to take Grim +1 as our opening 2. And then you don't have the Oracle to cover yourself again as your second pick overall. But now LGD take it and they say, okay, well, we'll just take the Grimstroke then because you've banned the Oracle. And then you can pick whatever you want out of the Shaker and the Tusk. And then we'll take the other one afterwards anyway, most likely. Unless Vici pick them both, which I very much doubt they will. That was cool by both those teams, actually. Mind games. Massive, massive mind games.
So potentially the Ember, which is something we talked about being really strong here for Somnus. They go Mars this time, so it gives options. But I think if you're LGD and you want that Ember, it has to be picked here. Otherwise, it's getting banned for sure.
They might want Ember, they might want Shaker. I think they're the two big ones for me. They could go Beastmaster as well. I talked about,
Yeah.
I'm assuming Old 11 can play it, but, Grimstroke Beastmaster's still pretty good as well. They could go Monkey King as well, I think is another option, which is something that's been banned out a lot in the second phase, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, they do go Ember. Okay. That's probably the most standard pick they could have gone for there. So LGD back to their maybe Ember most likely. Could be Chalice, but I think maybe he's been playing it like 99% of the time for them.
He's already played it two times this series, so I wouldn't be surprised for this to be the mid Ember. We'll see if the Earthshaker gets banned. First picks for Vici, so they don't. Yeah, well, they could go Mars 1 again. They've been playing the Mars in the 1 position. This isn't necessarily their offlaner. Would it be worth going into something like the Earthshaker if you've already got something like a Mars on your team? Like, does that maybe strap you down too much?
Yeah, you can't go Shaker on Vici, but LGD still could. They're probably going to look to pick their 5 next on Vici. So Lich is still in the pool. But a lot of the others have been taken out.
We've seen him once, but Witch Doctor, maybe?
Potentially.
Wouldn't be the worst thing in the world.
But it's difficult to pick Witch Doctor before you know what the enemy offlaner is, I think. Like, Witch Doctor's really good when you see, like, Centaur, right? Or, like, one of those big tanky brawlers, like Mars as well in the offlane. Doesn't like playing against Witch Doctor that much. But again, like, they have flex value, right, on Vici, so this could be Yang Mars, this could be Eurus Mars again, like we saw in Game 1 and 2.
Yeah. And then I think you have options here for LGD. Doesn't necessarily need to be that 4-position Earthshaker. FY is the king of the Rubiks. Here with the Grimstroke, you can go to that if you so please.
For sure.
Offlane, we've seen, I think, Old 11 go Tidehunter. See if maybe that's the direction they want to go on. I think you do need to evolve a little bit.
This is a really difficult pick, I think. Well, they go Disruptor. Okay. Ooh. So I think we saw Bobica playing this as a POS 5 for Vici before. Not for Vici, sorry, for Rasta, I mean. But a lot of the other ones we've seen this tournament, especially from like Kaka and things, have been POS 4. So, but again, like already, if you look at Vici's 3-4-5, or what, it could be 1-4-5, whatever, but these 3 heroes, when they're playing from in front, look so strong. But when they're playing from behind, they feel a little bit weak. So LG have to match the tempo here. Like, they have to be willing to be able to, get fighting early on, which is why I think something like the Shaker might be, you're so reliant on this blink timing, they might want something that can run at them a little bit sooner than that. I still think Clockwork's okay. It's not great, but they do go for the Shaker still.
There's that Earthshaker. Could be 3, could be 4. Very open.
It's so funny for me that the Shaker gets banned out first phase in both games, but they then don't ban it out in the second stage on Vici, almost as saying, like, we want you to take the Shaker, right? Like, we're going to ban the Panga instead. We felt like that was more annoying. And it gets through to the second stage of picks after being first phase banned in the other 3 games so far. I'm really interested to see what they pick here on Vici. You assume they're probably going to pick, like, their POS 2 here, potentially. But then if they want the matchup mid advantage, they're going to pick that last. I think something like the Kunk is still decent for them. We've talked about how it bridges the gap, but it always gets bans out last by either of these teams. So if they feel like that's a decent matchup or a decent hero for them in the game, they could just pick it now instead.
And just talking about it earlier, we were talking about heroes that can go back, have that free trip back to base, come back, and Kunkka is one of those heroes where he's got the X, he'll TP, go back, come here, have a full bottle, have this, have that, and there he is. Shows up right away.
Yeah. I'm quite proud of myself that I got that. because I feel like it's a hero we haven't been able to see yet, but it's a hero that's been so important in this draft, like the whole time, even though it hasn't been picked. And I'm glad that Vici have recognised that if they don't pick it there, it's going to get banned. And it is a good hero for their draft, so why not just pick it now, right? Like, you're still now flexing the Mars between the position 1 and the 3, and you have last pick overall in the draft. So then you can decide, where do we want to play the Mars? Where do we want to think it's best? Like in the game overall, considering we see every single one of LGD's heroes by the end. Oh, it's a Timber game, dude. Oh my god!
We got it!
Yes!
We finally got it!
Chat, it's happening.
We called it like 3 days ago. We were going to see it in the finals only. He has been picked for the first time. He is here. He is here. This is like the Smash Brothers reveal when they were like, everybody's here. Timber is here. Oh my god, we've been talking about it for days.
I said it just before as well. I was like, oh god, they could pick Timber, and they instantly pick it as soon as I say it straight away. Gosh. That's so sick, man. It's a really good Timber game. They have they have okay Magic Burst on Vici, and they've got a Vessel Buyer in Kunkka, so it's not a free Timber game, but it's pretty good. Like, neither of these supports deal with it really well either. So in the laning stage, Timber should have a relatively okay time. Oh my god, we actually get to see it. The first pick of the tournament after about 30 bans or something.
Oh my god.
Jesus.
Couple of tears of joy came out there.
I hope chat gets excited
all
as us.
Tournament.
You guys that have been following us in Twitch chat throughout the whole tournament will understand why we're so excited about this Timber pick. Because we've memed about it the whole tournament, about how it keeps getting banned and never picked. And we're finally here in the final, and we finally get
where
to
we
see
said it was going to be picked. Here are the stats on the Timber just before we get this last ban. Banned a total of 39 times. And now finally, picked once. It is here. It has arrived. Finally, we get to see a Timber game. And they banned the Monkey King. It was kind of looking that way.
The meme of the first phase ban or never getting picked is finally over, guys.
The curse is broken. Game 5.
Let's reset here. Let's think about what LGD need. So I imagine they're going to give Old 11 this Timber, most likely. So they're probably going to pick some kind of like... I mean, it could be Chalice as well. Remember, he plays the Timber as well. But it's going to be maybe on the Ember, like 99% of the time. So they could still flex the Shaker to 3 for Old 11 and put the Timber 1 if they wanted as well. Ooh. Oh. So it's Chalice on the Ember, I assume?
Could be would it be TA trying to, because
no,
isn't this a difficult matchup against the Kunkka?
Chalice isn't a mid player though, right? So I think he's so 100% less likely to play the TA than Somnus. I mean, they might try it and they might have practiced it and done something before, but I'd be very surprised. I think it's going to be the 3 Timber, the 4 Shaker, and then they can tri lane around the Ember as well if they really want to, right? And then put the Timber and the TAs in 1v1s, ideally. Because those 2 heroes would do super well in those. But I think they have to pick a carry hero here on Vici that scales well with damage. Something like TB might be okay, but it's pretty poor against Timber.
Ooh, and that's that Slark that you want against the Timber.
Good Slark game. They could even put it mid if they wanted to as well, but I think it's more likely to be the Kunkka.
So, but isn't this matchup not great for the Templar Assassin against the Kunkka?
It's okay. It kind of goes both ways, though.
Yeah.
TA can do okay, but as soon as Kunkka hits level 6, there's massive kill potential, with a rotation, right? So... unsure.
It's just coming up to the Timber pick on stream now. I'm excited. Just Somnus on the TA, Old 11 on the Timber Saw, finally. FY on the Euro Shaker, Chalice on the Ember, X Nova on the Grimstroke, leaving Eurus on the Slark, Ori on the Kunkka, TY on the Disruptor, Yang on the Mars, and PYW playing that Tusk.
Okay. Old 11 Timber. How much work can it get done this game? Because I feel like he can just creep skip this game, right? And not really care about anything in the world.
Yeah.
Like they can't really like Disruptor's okay. It can kind of follow him around a little bit and get things done, but at the same time, I feel like this Timber has a pretty good time for most of the game at least. He has the Slark to be worried about later on, especially if Eurus builds up to a Silver Edge. Even a Skadi maybe if he wanted to, but I think this Silver Edge is going to be really key this game. It is a good Slark game overall, though, we have to say. You know, Vici with the last pick of the draft have definitely picked a really good last pick overall. Oh, this is such an exciting game.
Finally get to see the Timber. Towards the end of that draft, they were waiting in the strategy phase, and I realized we're probably still on camera, and we were just kind of like, we were probably just staring at our side screens or whatever for the last 30 seconds of that.
Oh yeah, probably. I wanted to see chat's reaction to the Timber pick. They weren't as near as excited as we were. I'm just a little bit disappointed.
They were why are these guys so excited is what I saw a couple times.
You guys haven't watched the whole event then, if you think that.
It just proves it, yeah. You guys have not been watching the entire event.
Oh, God. That was for all you OG fans from the rest of the event. Don't worry. Casters are obvious tree haters. You know what, Robert? Right. It's so funny when you, on the old TI games, you know, it would give you the questions of like, how many trees would be destroyed?
How many trees get destroyed?
And there's a goddamn timber in the game, and you're like, I have no idea. Like, infinite. It could be anything.
So I'm so much of a tree hater that I actually donated against the Mr. Beast foundation that he started for all those trees.
So
Not
I
really,
imagine
though.
FY's going to do this creep manipulation thing that we've seen him do, by the way, on this Shaker. So like whether he Fisher blocks the wave like once or twice, maybe he Fisher blocks the Radiant wave under its tower. We'll have to see because
that fissure usually it's almost been one fissure for his end, and then towards the end the fissure right before the Radiant tower.
Yeah, he's going to use it right outside his base, and then probably the second time again afterwards.
Yeah.
He might even let the range creep go first here and just block that melee side instead. We'll have to see what he does. I think they... Do they go for the double block? Look at DY, dude. Get off! Stop! Please stop blocking the creep wave.
Focus me.
Yeah, he goes for the double block. Okay. This is good. But look, Eurus is letting the range creep through as well, so this lane isn't even going to push towards the Dire side. If this range creep dies first on the Radiant, this is actually pretty good for Vici. And considering they double Fisher block that wave, Eurus has done a super good job there.
Wow.
But now the wave stacks up. There's basically two that come in at once for LGD. FY blocks the small camp with his body.
So I saw Timber in the CIS region earlier today. It was the CIS final, I believe, for We Play Division 2.
Look at Eurus.
And the Timber Saw went up against the Sark. He's going to get first blood here with the Timber Chain. And this is something I wanted to talk about because when I saw the Timber Saw against the Sark in that CIS matchup, he went 1 point into reactive armor, but then started maxing out Whirling Death and Timber Chain, focusing on Timber Chain first.
Yeah, I mean, because you can't really trade effectively against the Slark, so I think he'll end up going 2-1-2 most likely. But we'll see.
Dang, also dying.
Discover what lies beyond.
But dude, I will never understand why on this Timber Saw at level 1, Timber Chain costs 60 mana and it does 100 damage on a hero that can spam it out on a 4-second cooldown.
I find your presence offensive.
Like, why? Why is that a thing?
To go top again. I mean, we're wrapping on Yang a little bit, or trying to. They got that kill, and I'm surprised, because that's a Mara's Tusk lane that could be pretty strong with that early tag team.
How's mid going anyway? I haven't looked at this yet. Oh, okay. Somnus with a little bit of an early lead, but not massive, which I think is to be expected in this lane.
Ember moving forward on the Yang. Inkswell, good job. Good job with the snowball. Now they go after Xnova for a second, or maybe even turn their attention over to Chalice. With the tag team and the God's Rebuke, they get the kill.
This Tusk here is so good against Grimshake, man. Like, when you hit this level 2 mark, you can just dodge the Inkswell, like, so reliably every single time. Unless you get chained up at the last second by the Ember, then, you know, you're just going to dodge it. And then, what do? He actually goes 2 points in Timber Chain, level 3 on the Timber, by the way.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about from that previous matchup that I saw this on, was just one in the reactive armor and goes into the Whirling Death level 4, but he decides to go reactive armor 2.
Yeah, and then he goes for the second point reactive armor. I think this is fine. I think he's probably going to keep just 2 in the reactive armor, I would assume. And then just max out his skills instead. But yeah, now it just comes, because the second point in not living armor, reactive armor just allows you to creep skip like this. And you get so much tankier.
Ooh. FY was looking to throw a fissure. Now he finally gets it down. Ori taking a lot of damage. They'll rotate over the Disruptor. But with PYW and the Disruptor making a rotation, Kinetic Field is down. Somnus in trouble. They land to the X as well as the Torrent. They get the kill onto this TA. And that is a good turnaround from Vici. After maybe they got themselves baited in by their own fissure. Thought that they can get in on this.
Guess what we've returned to, B-Cup? Why is everybody at the mid lane? What minute is it?
It's the 4-minute power rune.
It's the 4-minute power rune. We're back to the 3v3 mid. Sorry, not 5v5. At the 4-minute mark. All the supports rotate in.
And that was, that was the rotation coming in from PYW originally to help get that power rune. But then Disruptor TP'd in, had enough time. And it works out that way because PYW is walking over. You know, if PYW is not working over, I don't think that kill goes that way.
I want to talk about Xnova's skill build here on the Grimshake, because normally I really hate this build. Right? I was playing with my friend last night who did this. I completely disagreed with it, but this game I actually think he has to. Like, normally you go like 1-0-2, right, and play with the Ember, but we've talked about how good this snowball is, so it means he has to take a point in Phantom's Embrace. Otherwise, every single time, like, he's just going to snowball the wave, right? And just dodge the Inkswell damage. Yeah, like here.
He's silenced first, so he can't snowball. But now he's got the snowball going over the neutrals. Chalice right on top of it, gets hit by it. However, with one more shot, will get the kill, has the slight. Now looks over at Yang, who doesn't have mana to work with, however, does have that soul ring. He pops the salve and stays in lane.
So yeah, it's just a really good adaptation by Xnova there to just take the point in Phantom's Embrace, which normally I just, like I said, I just wouldn't like, but in this situation it feels really good.
So then Old 11 over towards bottom. They have the Kunkka come in, and that helps them to get the kill. X and the Ghost Ship through, killing off this Timber Saw. And Timber's now gone into the 0-2-3, so started with the early Timber Chain and goes back into the reactive armor.
His courier did die first, by the way, before, and he's actually going Necrobook again on this Timber. Look at his inventory just fill up because his courier died before. I'm not sure why he's going this Necrobook. Seems to be building it on every hero.
Yang? But Chalice, he has Searing Chains in just a second, but Slight's on cooldown for a lot longer, so unable to catch Yang on that one.
Something I want to go back to quickly, by the way, before we lose it, is that rotation down there by Ori to kill the Timber is bigger than just the Timber kill. Because he's with the catapult wave there on the Timber, so if Timber has a free moment there, where he can just like skip and freely push in the wave and things, he can like get a lot of damage on the tower as well. But because they kill him off, it means that this tower is no longer under threat at all in the bottom lane. So it's like a bigger overall like picture thing.
Thank you.
Chalice has 5-1 charges, but the tag team, the Shards, Inkswell, Chalice slight, but Shards with the spear gets the kill. Chalice tried to go in on that with really low health, and I'm not really certain why he would try to fight that sitting on about 400. Meanwhile, mid TA doing a very good job, a level ahead of this Kunkka.
Nice thing about this Ember side lane, by the way, when you have TA mid, is that you can freely build this bottle and not worry that you're clashing for active rune spawns, especially. Because like TA doesn't really want to take them unless it's like a DD to take Roshan stuff, right? This Ember's going to be taking them every single time. BYW sees a nice little haste rune here.
Tower is under attack.
Tally ho!
You're starting to get a lot of stacks in that essence shift.
Oh, he's coming for the 3 points though. Was it Eurus we saw do this before?
It might have been
Slack when he went.
Sylar.
Sorry, they went 1-1-4, didn't they? And I really disagree with that. I think 3 points is fine as long as he doesn't put any more in.
And look at how hard he's hitting FY. And yes, it gives the better duration, and maybe you're using that duration to have a better harassment overall. Goes, gets the pounce, snowball in.
Oh, what a
Timber
snowball.
Chain doesn't hit. The snowball comes in on time. Eurus will now get the kill on the Timber Saw, so it started okay for Timber, but now back-to-back deaths with Ori making the rotation, and now PYW coming down bottom. Eurus picks up his second permanent agility, and this lane is really starting to open up for him.
It's the Vici Gaming Tusk, boys. It's back. Yeah, and I love that Eurus just kept 3 points in this asset shift. I think that's really good. And now you max Dark Pact because that allows you to farm up quicker. It's a big win. Big thumbs up from me. Mid lane, X, Torrent.
And you've got no ghost ship because they don't have the mana for it, but Tusk moves forward and Inkswell pops. PYW ends up dead. If they had the ghost ship, that probably ends a little bit differently. Just didn't have the mana to throw it.
Why is Old 11 going Necrobook on Timber?
Ooh, Eurus throws a ward onto the high ground and is immediately dewarded.
Did that ward... Was it in range of the sentry already down? It must have
I
been.
think it was here, yeah.
Like, just. Yeah, I guess he was trying to block the Ancient Camp, right? It makes sense.
Ooh, they
Inkswell on the
got
Sark.
around this Sark Timber Chain, and Old 11 gets some revenge on Eurus. So Fissure hits, they've got the Inkswell, that pops, continuing to stun him up. All of a sudden, they've got themselves a kill onto the Sark. They will lose X Nova here. Oh, yeah.
My people will wash over this land.
Shard stayed up long enough where even after the totem, he was destined to die.
And exactly how we talked about the Timber death down before in the bot lane, it's now the Slark death just as the catapult wave spawns. So now Timber can start shoving this lane in before Slark's prepared and set up. And I'm wondering here, yeah, Eurus isn't even going to bother coming. I think he just realizes he has to go top and try and pressure the lane. Top lane in the exact same way. Maybe he's going for this blink first as well on the TA, which I think is going to be really good. Try and get involved in these fights early on. You know, we've talked about how important the tempos have been in both games so far.
Yeah.
What is this snowball top? Okay. Interesting. He has a regen rune on the Ember as well, right? So doesn't really achieve anything.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
But they do keep their catapult alive on top lane on Vici.
Dire's structures are fortified.
Normally, we see Deso into the blink,
Dire's
but
top tower is
surprised
under
this
attack.
time it's different.
The blink is the item that allows you to fight sooner than the Deso would, though.
Yeah.
I've just realised the Timber Necrobook actually isn't even awful. Like it's okay because normally when you skip the waves, you can't push towers very quickly. But this Necrobook, like look how quickly it's doing damage to this tower, like tier 2 tower.
Tier 2 tower takes about 900 damage,
Arena.
and now they've got themselves the arena down. That's just to escape, but they've got the remnant, so Chalice keeps forward. Great soulbind from
Inkswell.
And there's the Inkswell. They'll get the pop on Ori and Yang. 3 kills there for LGD. And a very good job making the rotation over as the arena was dropped to try and get out defensively, but X-Nova happens to wander on the fight, has the soulbind, Inkswell, and a couple of kills there for LGD.
Radiant's middle tower
If anybody
is
on
under
your
attack.
you play with ever asked why Grimshoke Ember is so good, just show them that little bit there. Like Ember just jumps in, has Inkswell on him, they get soulbound up together. Like what do? There's no play until they get BKBs online, right? And he has to go Vestal first on this Kunkka to be able to try and help deal with the Timber as well.
Spear misses, Searing Chains on to 2. They've got the Fissure to follow it up. Echo Slam's available for FY, so he might try to position himself near this snowball. Doesn't actually get in time, but now the Echo Slam comes through. Somnus starting to output some damage, but if they lose X Nova, shards are through, locks up Chalice. They've got the glimpse. Can they get more with this? Torrent hits, God's Rebuke, Somnus low, hit with the Thunder Strike and the Spear coming in. The Fissure's just a little bit too late from FY to keep him alive, and now the Pounce reaches him up, and they'll get the kill. X pulls back this Timber into the Static Storm. They've got the Ghost Ship, and they clean him up.
On the Ember as
now
well.
with the Snowball, and he's in so much trouble. Gets the
They're gonna get the glimpse.
However, DY,
5 seconds
on cooldown for 5 seconds, doesn't have the mana, has 6 thick charges, now has the mana.
Oh, X Nova.
Back the Grim Stroke, and this is a very dead X Nova for the second time this engagement. It goes so well for LGD, and then so well for Vici.
If Old 11 is there at the start of that fight, it's completely different, but I don't think he had TP up, so he had to walk all the way from bot lane to mid. And by the time he shows up, like, his team's just dead, and they just drop everything on him and kill him. So, yeah, not great. And now the Kunkka is going to have Vessel in like 500 gold or so, which means this Timber can't even play safe anymore, really. The other problem I have with this Necrobook is it delays your other items, right? I guess you farm a little bit quicker, but you have Wave Clear already on Timber, right? It shouldn't be a problem. And so you're delaying like your Arcane Boots, but then you're also delaying your first Purge item to take off Vessel charges.
Dire's top tower is under attack. Are scanning.
So what do they do if they're, you know, with this Timber now that he's gotten into the Necrobook, and how do LGD start to take a lead back? Because we talked about it in the draft. This, you know, this lineup from Vici works so much better, of course, when they're able to snowball. And right now they've got themselves a lead, and they're starting to, you know, hit the edge of the cliff and start to roll down.
I mean, for LGD, it's the same problem they've had in the last couple of games, though, where their offlane is playing another greedy core, right? So they have 3 heroes that all need farm.
Dire's top tower has
And especially when you go for this Necrobook build, like in the DP game, sorry, the Enigma game and this game as well, like you're taking more farm off the map. Like nobody's creating space for LGD at the moment unless they group up and take a fight. Like nobody's looking for pickoffs. Like not until FY gets his blink on Shaker at least. So yeah, it's, I don't know. They just have 3 core heroes that are all needing a little bit of time to come online. Vici, they have the arena up with the blink on Yang now, and they've got Static Storm up again, so Chalice might be the oh no, okay, they start wandering towards mid instead. I think the mid's the right play because they have a catapult here, and the mid tier 1 tower is the most important for them, but did they use that on an illusion? Or I think Chalice just jumped away to a remnant, actually.
Away. Yeah.
I would have really liked to have seen them play mid, but it was not to be.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
USD warding here. You know, one of the best things about this Slark hero, you gain like permanent map control almost in a way.
We saw how good their map control was in the previous game too. As Chalice gets the kill onto Yang. And
That's an Echo usage though.
Yeah, that was... Echo gets used now. Slark. Silence for a moment, maybe thinking about going back on X Nova. He's got the glimpse from the Disruptor, and around him, one more shot will get another permanent agility. 7 permanent agility for him. Wow.
He's doing really well on this Slark. Like, it's a really good diffuser game for him as well. If he can get his damage off, he's going to be doing wonders here. He has to be a little bit worried about like the burst damage that can come through from the FY blink on the Shaker, the Timber Saw, and the TA as well, like all at once. But with this BKB, it should be able to be enough for now. You know, that if he can get that BKB off in the fight, there isn't really too much that can stop him from getting his damage off.
And he's going to go Deso, so we'll see if he can do anything with that. However, I say that, and there's the Spear with the Snowball, Static Storm, Walrus Punch, and down goes the TA. Missing the X Torrent on Chalice.
Yeah, biggest kill on the map there for Vici, getting that TA. She's just picked up her Blink Deso, but now you should be able to take this mid tower, I assume. There's a DD on the Kunkka here as well, but he doesn't actually have any Vessel charges, which is a little bit worrisome. And I guess they do still have
Slark's
arena.
Going to join in. They've got themselves the arena. The Soulbind locks up the Mars to the Slark, but it's not going to matter. They've got the Timber on the wall with the Spear. And Eurus goes into the Shadow Dance. There's the snowball getting pulled in, maybe back over thanks to the glimpse. Kinetic field, X marks the spot. Timber's still continuing to get controlled in this situation. The torrent hits as well as the damage. It won't be there. It doesn't finish him off. So the fissure comes through. Eurus tries to avoid the fight. Searing Chains out on Ori with the Inkswell. Kunkka in trouble. And with it popping X Nova, he'll take the life of the Kunkka, and they've also killed off PYW. But at the end of it all, they do finally kill the Timber.
Timber is the one hero you don't want to go on there. But you see Old 11's doing a really good job of making sure he's the one that's at the front. So they have to go on him, right? They don't see anybody else behind him. And now this is going to open up the Roche for LGD as well. Such a massive timing for them, that fight mid. They're going to try and come over on the Radiant side, but are they going to be too late? If PYW can throw the shards in, he might be able to snowball on time here.
Ooh, snowball. Oh, ends up outside the pit. Static
They get the kill on the Radiant.
He gets the kill. Snatch the Aegis for Somnus. Chalice now needing to run. He's got the Remnant to get some distance between him and the side of Vici, but Somnus now fighting Yang. Yang doesn't have that spear for another second. Finally, they're moving forward, but there's the trap. Eurus gets the kill on X Nova. Echo Slam comes in on the two of these heroes. With the Totem, they'll take out PYW. Chakram right on top of the Mars. They finish off Yang. And a Remnant looking for more. Side of Fist, Searing Chains through into DY. DY doesn't have that glimpse. It's on cooldown for another 5 seconds, but Eurus moving forward.
Chalice.
Here comes Old 11. Eurus now here with the help of Ori. They've got the X. They'll take out DY. They hit the Torrent with the Ghost Ship, taking the life of Chalice. And now Somnus, he joins the fight. They look over at Ori. The body blocks coming in from Old 11 with the Chakram and the Fissure hitting. They will get the life of the Kunkka.
And they still have Aegis on TA as well. So not even too bad for them. The good thing, at least, you know, Eurus managed to get a couple of Agi on his Slark at least. But yeah, it's still a decent win overall for LGD, to be honest. And they should be able to try and play the tempo game now with this Aegis. You know, they've got this Blink coming on Shaker in 500 gold. So that's going to be a big timing for them. Try and take these fights. Because you have to remember, like, everyone's been getting decent slams off so far, and he doesn't even have a Blink yet. He's just walking into fights.
Mm-hmm. And he's walked in. He's got himself a couple of good Echo Slams there. But now bottom. He finds Somnus. They've got the Snowball. How far away is the Disruptor? He's not too far. Does have Glimpse, but PYW... I mean, it's a little too far. Side of Fist, Searing Chains doesn't hit. Static Storm right on the Ember. Great job from DY. Bad job from Yang to miss that spear. And now they're not going to get the kill onto this Ember.
Why didn't he just use the God's Rebuke before the spear? Because the God's Rebuke slows him, so it's easier to get the spear off. Yang just trying to make it a little bit difficult for himself. I think they thought the TA was a lone bot, which is why the Tusk went in there, but Shaker just sat behind. And as soon as that Fissure came out, they were like, okay, never mind. Let's just ditch. PIW, you're dead, buddy, but never mind.
There's the BKB for Eurus.
PYW might be in trouble again here.
He did just die. He's got the Snowball, but it's only extending what looks to be the inevitable. Soulbind used. Yang comes in, lands the spear onto the TA, and they've got themselves the kinetic field.
Oh, they're going to bite like it. Ori's coming in from the top.
Nothing doing for the moment until Ori comes through. Lands the Torrent onto the Grimstroke, gets the kill with the double damage and the Tidebringer. Now they find
maybe might die twice.
Somnus, Snowball. Somnus in trouble. They'll get the Aegis.
Can they... They've got Dark Pact.
So there's the Torrent landing. Shadow Dance used. Fissure stops the Sark for a moment, but they get the second kill, and now, oh boy, they've got Old 11. There's the Walrus Punch keeping him here, and Old 11 in so much trouble, surrounded by Vici, as yet another goes their way.
Great buyback by PYW. LGD didn't see this like coming at all, but Ori was coming from above them, like from the mid lane towards the bot lane. Yeah, and X Nova dying instantly means like they have no utility from the Inkswell in the fight, no utility from the silence. And yeah, without the Inkswell, I think their team fight overall is a lot weaker. And especially when they were so close to getting Blink on FY as well. Like we talked about him being like a few hundred gold off. If he'd have had that Blink at that point, then they might have been able to turn with the Aegis, you know, making the TA respawn, but she just dies twice, and that Aegis not going to be put to good use at all.
So a big Aegis kind of fizzling out for LGD.
There's a BKB coming on the Kunkka now as well, which is a big timing. At the same time, I think TA's got her BKB coming out as well, potentially.
Still
Oh no, she's still a recipe. She's a recipe. Okay, so they might look to smoke up here. I hope they don't do it on this trap. Oh no. Oh, so LGD, I don't know if they saw this or not, but if they did, yeah, you see Old 11 already just trying to be the one at the front. They want somebody else, though. They want somebody else to show up here. And LGD is just holding their high ground because I'm pretty sure they saw it, and they might now smoke themselves because of this FY Shaker blink reveal.
Will be the blink into the level 2 Echo. They back up pretty far. FY is holding smoke. So is X-Nova, so both supports have it. Surprised they haven't smoked just yet. Smoke doesn't do anything there for Vici. Maybe a little bit of deep vision. They've got this ward over here just placed, and they get anything else?
But then again, at the same time, right now, they really want to wait for the TA BKB if they can, because it stops her just instantly dying to the Kunkka combo, which is why them dodging that smoke there is so important. Because if Vici kill her there, it delays the BKB even more. But they're looking for the TA here. Oh, shards miss. No vision for the snowball. Yeah, and there's the BKB coming out for Somnus. He's going to feel really good in these fights now. They don't have a huge amount of physical damage on the Vici side, so this BKB extra important.
So there's that BKB. Meanwhile, Yang trying to get into that Heaven's Halberd. Eurus goes Ags. I know a couple of Sarks have been avoiding picking up this item. Maybe going to Fusel into the BKB, potentially a Scotty after. But he's chosen to go to the Ags, which we've seen dominate in this tournament before. They've got the arena down with the spear, but this is focusing onto the Timber Saw. Do they have the damage to kill him off quickly enough? He's got the Yules, the Ghost Ship comes in, the Static Storm is down, but it will finally run out. However, they have already got the kill on Old 11. They do trade Yang. No, Echo Slam with that blink on a 2. But there's the BKB coming in from Eurus. They will finish off DY. So the support goes down with the damage coming in from Somnus. Eurus trying to get out of this one. Ori comes in. He's got the X, pulls him back, keeps Eurus alive. Now needs to run. There's the trap. Ooh, Stroke of Fate into the trees. Remnant forward. Chalice Sleight of Fist, but doesn't get the Searing Chains out.
Oh my god, what is
Silence,
happening?
Inkswell, Somnus. They will get the kill onto this Sark. It's a long chase. He almost survives, but finally Eurus is taken out.
Great fight for LGD though, yeah, and it's the big BKB TA timing reveal. I thought that Kunkka might consider going Halberd before he went BKB himself, because I think, like we just saw, that they don't have a way of dealing with the TA when she has BKB on, right? So at least if you can get the Halberd onto her first before she gets BKB off, then you might be able to control her for a little while, but I mean, Somnus is just going to go rampant here for the next couple of fights with this long BKB duration. They have to be able to try and kite that out. I mean, they have Snowball, which is okay, but apart from that, like, Somnus can basically just blink in and go on whoever he wants, especially if he gets Inkswell just before.
Maybe to try and cut it out, they do have the Blink Dagger now finished on PYW. You can get that Walrus Punch in.
Yeah, potentially. That's true. And again, though, the Old 11's the guy that gets gone on first, right? Like, he's the guy you really don't want to focus, because it makes the fight, it draws the fights out so much more. Where imagine if they found like the Shaker first or the Ember first, like it's so much of an easier kill, right? If you can just chain send him down quickly. I thought Chalice might go BKB as well on this Ember, but he's actually just going for the Axe, which is fine as well.
Oh, bounty!
It's a smoke here from Vici. It is Chalice. They'll have the Blink Dagger, but smoke breaks and he remnants away. X-Nova.
Good Soulbind.
Soulbind, but ooh, pops the BKB, and well, that's the easiest 9-second BKB they're going to get, and they might even look to fight this because of the fact that he's not going to have the BKB, so Vici will look to disengage. They do lose DY, and he drops the Static Storm.
The problem is for Eurus though, it's so difficult, right? Because they don't have vision up on that high ground or anything. So when he gets soulbinded up, he has no idea if Shaker's going to like blink echo him from behind, or if like Ember's going to try and chain him up, or like anything could come through. So he has to pop the BKB to be safe. But yeah, like LG are going to be really happy with that. And like you said, they can now just push because they know the BKB on Sark isn't there. Like, that BKB from him looks really good if there's, like, all of a sudden FY tries to blink in and slam, right?
Radiant's middle tower.
LGD making sure they play around the high grounds at the moment really well.
Radiant's middle tower.
All of a sudden, 4K net worth advantage. This TA is really pulling ahead. And the second Roche is up. Okay. At the same time, Old 11 dies, so they might not even be able to go for the Roche anymore. Yeah. They have to leave. And he's dead for 45 seconds here. They can't really take the Roche themselves, but they might look to try and make a play still.
If they can continue forward. You see Yang, he really wants something in that spot. So, now that the Timber's down for 17, do you think they just posture around the Roche pit expecting LGD to come back?
Yeah, they need to make sure they set up good vision around the pit, which seems like they have. They've redone this ward spot that they had before, just to make sure that if the Roche fight breaks out, they don't have to come back onto that high ground. But I think these TA traps are doing so much work in terms of allowing them to see what the Vici movements from Vici are like.
Next, they're about to find Ori. He's on the high ground, and now he tries to run away. He pops the BKB in time. He ain't got the arena down, but there's the Soulbind onto the Kunkka as well as the Mars. They'll get the kill on X-No, but coming in with the Remnant is Chalice. Chalice, sight. Remnant back. Somnus's BKB is running low, and they do get the glimpse out onto the Ember. They find themselves Old 11 by himself.
Oh my goodness.
Old 11 moving forward, doing a lot of damage. Static Storm with the fissure coming through. Old 11 destroys Yang and DUI. Jesus, and Yang buys back immediately.
Yeah, this is going to be the Roche fight for LGD now. They're going to feel confident with this. Like, there's no arena, there's no static storm. What's to stop them from doing what they want to do here? And I don't know if Vici can contest this. They might try, but like TA still has B. Oh, she doesn't have BKB up. She used it in the fight. Okay, so this might be okay for Vici, especially for the Slark in particular.
They found the Ember. They can get this kill onto the Ember, it would be big. They've got the BKB as well as the Leech coming from Pounce. But he uses that Yules, and he's surviving with the Walrus Punch coming through from PYW, though Eurus gets the kill. He pops his own BKB, goes into the Shadow Dance. They'll buy back on Chalice. He got a Remnant nearby.
Eurus.
Timber chain forward. Eurus now without the BKB, but there's the Meld Strike. A couple of shots coming in as well as the Chakram. They've got the Echo Slam hitting on a Bolt of Kunkka as well as the Mars over to the side. Eurus backs off. He'll have some time to heal up. Yang, he did just buy back, so if he gets killed, he's going to be gone for quite some time, and he will fall. Down for 90 seconds, gets an arena in, so they've soloed out Old 11. And can they get the kill onto the Timber? Eurus still backing off. However, with PYW and DY working, they are giving him a little bit of the bully, as the rest of LGD will finally join into this fight. X, as well as the Torrent, won't land. He's got the Yules, tries to get
good
back.
Fisher. They really want the Roche,
blocks them in.
I'm sorry, on LGD. Orb Destruction on the TA, good stuff. Vici didn't want to win anyway. I mean, these fights from LGD are so much better than the last game, though. And this Timbersaw, even though I didn't agree with his builds and things early on, like he's just committing to the fight every single time. He's forcing Vici to go on him, and his spell usage has been really good this game.
Finds FY and doing a lot of damage. The Snowball comes in as well as the Inkswell popping from the Grimstroke, but easily mitigated there by Vici. They'll get the kill and get the Aegis, so Aegis in the hands of Somnus. They'll find themselves the Tusk. PYW trying to run, but the damage is there. They should get this kill eventually. FY coming through with a Fissure to finish him off. And now two heroes gone without buyback. They did buy back on FY, so what is the buyback situation? Jesus. Timber and TA, but TA has also got that Aegis.
The BKB on TA is down to 8 seconds, which is still a decent amount of time, though. But considering how much they've been fighting, she's only used 2 BKB charges. Like, she hasn't been popping them quite so freely all the time. What is... Oh, yeah, Chalice bought back in the fight, didn't he? I was going to say, where did his net worth go, but...
Yeah. He bought back. He died early the first Roche attempt, and then bought back in the high ground when they were chasing Eurus back to base.
I like these item pickups on Vici. They've got the medallion on Disruptor just so he doesn't get one shot effectively by the TA. But they're also going for this AC on Kunkka, and he's only about 1,000 gold away, which we talked about how they need to kite out the TA BKB duration to bring her down. You know, if they get this AC and they have the medallion on someone as well, it takes the TA much longer to kill them. So they just need to, like we said, kite the BKB TA duration, try and make a turnaround then, but problem is now, like, these echoes from FY in the last few fights have been crazy.
They found Old 11, they've got the spear. They'll lock up the timber, they're doing a lot of damage, but here comes Chalice, Static Storm, committed. Duels, is it going to be enough? And he'll eat the cheese, so now he's back to full health and full mana, but BKB's been popped by Eurus. They look over at Chalice with TA going in pretty deep. They've stunned him up, the Fissure lands onto 3, but they're doing enough to take out the first life from the Templar Assassin. Now Remnant looking back towards the fight as they've got the second life. The spear comes through from Yang, so that spears him up, and they'll get this Sark away. Question is, how many are they going to lose? And they lose just the Mars.
Not an awful fight for Vici.
Not at all.
They get the Aegis down from TA, but she still has BKB up, which I think is probably more important overall. And without Yang here, like, Slark has no BKB either. I'd be very surprised if they didn't try and force in this high ground. At least try and take the tier 3 here. Maybe even more.
Searing Chains onto the Kunkka. Chakram sitting on top of him for just a moment. Chalice, you look at his positioning, how far forward he's postured.
Oh my god, there's a Bloodthorn on TA. Where's that come from?
Almost 20,000 net worth.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
Just fully buys out a Bloodthorn.
Take the tier 3 and probably this full set of racks. You gotta be careful about how you go into this because FY's waiting in the back looking to throw down an Echo Slam. So Eurus comes forward. They've got the snowball coming in. But a good job. Static Storm now placed on the TA. TA taking a lot of damage, forces the BKB out. But on the run from Eurus, I don't know how far away he's going to get. He's leashed up with the Soulbind, so that's what keeps Somnus alive. The glimpse comes through on the X-Nova, but he still can't get forward to as he's still leashed up to PYW. Finally, Unleashed gets the kill on X-Nova, so it is just one. The entire time, though, FY very, very diligent about where he wants to throw this Echo Slam, so he holds it, and he's still got it ready for the next engagement.
And so, like, that TA almost dies there. I think there's a Basher on Slark. Yeah, there is. And she got caught by surprise a little bit. Didn't expect that to come through. Can they find more here? Yeah, they really want the vision for the glimpse, but it's Shadow Blade by FY. And they have this AC on the Kunkka coming out now as well. They're 7k behind on Vici, but they're not in an awful position. It's not like the 6k last game, right? Where the LGD were behind. I think obviously LGD is still in front, but it's all in the TA, the net worth difference, right? It's just the TA. So if you can somehow find a way to bring her down, the rest of the team is, you know, so lackluster. It's just, do they have a way to bring her down at the moment? When she pops that BKB, she really does feel immortal. Especially with that Bloodthorn, she can pretty much kill anybody. I think you have to play the fights perfectly on Vici to be able to bring her down. No mistakes allowed.
Ooh, boy, Somnus. Old 11 laying wait, but now the blink forward, they've got themselves the Walrus Punch as well as the X that lands with the Torrent. They focus their attention on the Old 11 for a moment.
The Bashes!
But here comes the kinetic field. The Bashes through on the TA!
Oh my god.
Eurus! He gets the dominating spree.
The glimpse as well.
The life of the TA. Now they've got Old 11 all by himself. They'll get the Torrent landing here with Ori killing off Old 11. It is 2-0, and Vici. That's a fight that just draws them back into the game so heavily.
Those bashes from Eurus were so sick, actually. Like, the TA didn't pop BKB for the X-Torrent, which is fair enough. But then, because she hasn't popped the BKB, then she just gets pounced by the Slark, and there's, like, instant follow-up. A couple of bashes come through, so it doesn't even matter if she pops BKB. But Eurus also has a Paladin sword on the Slark, which is about as good as it gets for him. Like, this constant lifesteal coming through, and all the healing amp on his ult and stuff as well. It's going to feel really good here. And he's actually going Scardy next on Eurus, and I think when he gets that, like, look at the net worth difference all of a sudden.
It sat back real quick.
Yeah. Like, this Basher allows him to, like, deal damage to the TA through BKB and controller, but the Scardy allows him to chase her. Because it's, what is it, a 30% slow, I think, on Scardy on ranged heroes? Let me check. Enemy range units are 45% movement speed slow. Boy, oh boy.
Ooh. He found Chalice for a moment. He's trying to get into this tier 2. Meanwhile, rotating in is PYW. They do have the shrine to go to. PYW's found the remnant, so Is the plan to maybe back him off into the Remnant and get around it? It doesn't look like it. Nobody coming over. Eurus still over towards top as he buys out on that Scotty.
Timeless Relic on the Radiant side, by the way. I'll be interested to see if anybody wants to take that. Like, it's okay on Disruptor, but they don't have a huge amount of spell damage to make it worthwhile. Oh, they're going to take it on Mars. Okay, so the debuff duration on the spears and things, and the arena's really nice as well.
Timeless Relic also for the Dire, as well as the Flicker now. Spell Prism for Vici.
But who takes the Spell Prism as well? Like, they don't have spellcasters really, right? So they get two of the best items for spellcasters in Relic and Prism, but they can't really use them that well. UIW is going to take the Flicker, or he's going to take the Spell Prism. Okay. LGD have to try and get this. Yeah, LGD have to try and get this TA to level 25. By the way, this Bash hit at level 25 could make all the difference. Like, she's only one level away, so it's not too far off. And I'm interested to see.
Could be up soon enough. Where if he gets that 25, you may just have the third life onto one of these heroes on Vici. So
it's also the third Roche as well. Remember, so it could be an Ags or it could be a Refresher. And if we get double Static Storm from ZY.
They've got the Torrent. Fissure comes in. Timber Chain, but they've got the Glimpse right on back. So the first hit bash coming through from Eurus. The Yules will be used. Chalice, as they've got Yang pretty deep in this. The BKB is going to be popping as well as the Spear coming through on Old 11. The Walrus Punch from PYW. They get that kill onto this Timber. He doesn't have buyback. He's dead for 80. Inkswell is not going to pop and land on anybody on the Vici side. So they can take that kill and back off. Oh, 150. A lot of time.
Never mind. Never mind. Poor Vici. They'll be sad about that one, but... Oh, they catch the Spear!
Oh, the Spear! They hit up Chalice! They've got the Walrus Punch! Oh my god, they just blew up Chalice!
Dude, Yang is... We have not seen some good Mars performances this tournament, but he is on a mad one today. With this BKB now, he's not really scared of anything when he jumps in.
TA still staying on the high ground. Ori right there, willing and waiting to go up onto the high ground. Great save from PYW. That's going to be the snowball on Asana. Still buyback on this Ember, but Echo Slam committed, and it's a lot of damage on Ori. They'll get the count of the company. He doesn't have buyback either, so he's dead for 90 seconds. They look over.
Chalice!
The Static Storm is out onto this Ember, and now he's in so much trouble. The arena keeps out the rest of LGD, so he's all by himself. The Walrus Punch comes in. They get the count of the Chalice. They do lose Yang, but that is very worth it when there's no longer an Ember into the game for 2 minutes.
Oh, yeah, and this Slark feels completely unstoppable at the moment. I was going to say at 25, I wondered what talent he was going to take, because nearly always you take the Essence Shift duration, but I was thinking, up against the TA, who's all single target physical bursts, he might even take the Shadow Dance, but he does go back for that Essence Shift. Goes for the standard choice. And this Slark is definitely the big boy in the game now.
Oh yeah, and Roche is up in 30 seconds, could potentially see him getting a second life. It's looking like it's a Roche fight to decide the game almost, with the way the timings are working out on the Ember and the rest of the heroes on Vici.
I feel like, is Kunkka missing an item? Is there something on his courier that died? Because he has almost 19k net worth. I feel like he's missing something. Because he only has 500-600 gold, so I'd love to know what it is, but I have to wait for his courier to respawn.
Prince's Knife. Anybody gonna take that? Mars does. Okay, so they no longer have the magic.
So this Prince's Knife is really good against both the Ember and the TA, because we've talked about how it's important the TA gets her BKB off in the fight. If he can instantly blink in, hit her to proc the Hex, and then follow up with a Spear, they don't have a save on LGD. So they can just bring her down from 100 to 0 if they chain stun properly. And the other thing is against Ember as well, it's obviously the same thing, right? Before he jumps away to his Remnant, if you blink in and hit him to get the Hex off.
I wanted to say the Magic Amp, but it was the Timeless Relic that was swapped out for the Prince's Knife. Mars, by the way, going for an Ags next, so is the Sarky. Well, now he's going into the Moon Shard. He had the Ags queued up once again, and then he did go to the Moon Shard, then picked up the Scotty. He's been figuring out where exactly he's wanted these, what exactly he's wanted.
Look at the TA's inventory, though. This guy is absolutely stacked. Worth pointing out that Somnus doesn't have buyback, though. So one bad fight from LGD here, where Somnus dies, he's all of their net worth, and he doesn't have buyback, right? So the game could just be over. So LGD have to be so careful in these fights now. It's all going to come down to the next Roche, I think. The next big Roche engagement, at least. And I'm interested to see if Eurus keeps his buyback or goes for the next item.
That's another smoke getting used there by LGD. 38 seconds till we see if Kunkka has something on that courier, and that might be why Vici are waiting to initiate. They are keeping their posture near the Roche pick, because this is, of course, the big objective for the game at the moment. So we'll see which team is looking to make the first move.
It's so difficult for either team to just commit to the pit. You kind of have to get a pick off before. FY on the Shaker, by the way, 3-3 and 17. He's had a really good game so far, but it's so difficult for him. Like, one wrong mistake, one bad echo, and it feels like the game's really difficult for LGD because they don't have any other team fight, really. Like, they have these 3 cores that all scale pretty well, but they're lacking that big team fight like position 3 hero, right? So it's all on FY to make big plays every single fight for them, which he's been doing so far, but the pressure's on.
They're going to go after Ori. By the way, the item that was coming in on the courier for Ori was the Heaven's Halberd. They found the Disruptor by himself. 3-shot by Somnus. So now they're without the Static Storm, but he does have buyback, which he'll use immediately. Chalice comes over with the Fast Remnants. They look at Old 11 as they got the damage onto the Timber. The Torrent comes through as well as the Ghost Ship. The Echo Slam gets used, but it's not going to be that much damage. The BKB's going to be popped by the Sark. They look to finish off
the TA.
FY Earthshaker. They will kill him off. 2 heroes buyback on the side of LGD, but remember, Somnus doesn't have buyback, so he's dead for 100 seconds. Without it, they find themselves X Nova. They'll get themselves a 4th within the fight. 2 of these heroes already bought back. Old 11's back into it. He'll take out PYW, who also has buyback. Timber Chain across, but they've got the X as well as the Torrent, so they lock up Old 11 for a moment. Coming
Eurus
through
is
is Chalice, Sleight of Fist, Gem on the deck, which Chalice will pick up. But without the TA, it doesn't feel like they're going to be able to go after this Roche. And now they've got the X as well as the Torrent. The Fissure hits on a 4, but it's not going to matter. Eurus gets the kill on a Chalice. He doesn't have buyback, dead for 93 seconds. Eurus on the monster kill streak. And here comes the big bad objective of Roshan for Vici.
Do you see my point exactly, though, about the Shaker in that fight? That they get one bad echo because they can't get the BKB on. I think there was like I don't know what stunned FY when he blinked in and echoed. I don't know if it was a snowball flying past or something, or a spear, but he couldn't get the instant follow-up disable off. And it meant that the Slark was able to get BKB off, and then the fight's just over for LGD. Like, TA can't get a damage off because people aren't locked down in that duration. And this is going to be it for Vici. They want to just try and end this here. They're going to assume that TA doesn't have buyback because she didn't use it the whole of that fight.
Yeah. Died so early. If you had buyback, you were probably going to use it. The rest of the team did. Still 23 seconds without TA. 40 seconds without this Ember. And Will Yules to avoid the X into the Torrent. And Eurus, he gets a big bump on that. He was looking to get the Ags, but instead now gets the Ags Blessing from that Roche. So he picks up the Moonshark, gets the Ags Blessing. Now they've got themselves the Blink as well as the Arena down. The Spear hits onto the Timber. They've got themselves the Static Storm in. Old 11 ends up dead. They'll get the kill on X Nova too. They were without this Timber for 2 minutes. Finally, the TA is alive, but they're going to focus the tier 4s. This could just be it, and it's GG called. Vici are your OGA Dota Pit champions. They take the series 3-1, and they absolutely dominate this best of 5.
What a good way to end the series, though, and a good way to end the tournament. You know, really back and forth game, loads of action. You know, we get 70 kills in 46 minutes. What an absolute treat. B Cup, Timber, 1 game, 0% win rate.
Oh, man. 1 win? Not 1 win?
No wins.
No wins. 1 game, not 1 win. It's so unfair. We waited all this time to see it that I get so excited and I say 1 win before I realize in my brain he did in fact lose. So that's it here for OGA Dota Pit. But I mean, let's break it down for a second.